Hey everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Behind the Comic. We've got a really fun story tonight about the first time I ever got hired for a paid stand-up gig and how the whole show had to make a complete 180 basically minutes before I got on stage. Let's check this out. All right, so here's what it was. I was living in New York City. I worked at a big real estate office, tons of people, and you chat here and there. Well, apparently some guy had heard me talk about having done stand-up before, shoots me a message on Facebook and says, hey, do you like comedy, money, and kosher food? I'm like, yeah, sure. I don't even know what order to answer that, but yes, all the above. He goes, great. Listen, he goes, I know that you're a really good stand-up. I don't know. I'd barely done it. Anyway, he goes, I got a gig that I can't make. Would love it if you could fill in for me. I'm like, holy shit. I'm never going to admit to this guy, I had only done open mics before this. I had very little experience. I had never in front of a real paying crowd. Certainly not a hired, go somewhere, show up and be a comic kind of gig. I'm pumped. I'm like, yeah, man, absolutely. When and where? What are you going to do? So he tells me, listen, he goes, it's going to be a men's lounge at a hotel bar in Long Island. He goes, I'm too dirty for this, but I've met you. I don't, you're a clean enough guy. There's no way you can be too dirty. Just, you'll be fine. I appreciate you being able to do it. It pays $150 and it's 30 minutes.
Comedy?
Huh?
Dirty comedy or dirty person?
Yeah, like dirty comedy. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, fine. And like, hey, I'm just pumped. So it's a few days away. And so Chelsea and I start working on, we put together I had only done open mics with like 5 minutes at a time. I certainly had never done 30. I mean, I would write a ton. Like I had a ton of written material, but like I said, not worked out in front of a crowd. So we start piecing fives together, this and that. Oh, when I quit smoking and about this and this and that. Anyway, all right, we think we've got it. We're feeling good. You know what I mean? Like we've got enough. We've got some fallback material. We got a strong 30. We're gonna crush this. It's gonna be really good. And so we're practicing right up on the train into Long Island. We're still practicing my set over and over. Chelsea's a trooper. She's listening to it and laughing like it's like she's never heard of it. I mean, I was tired of the comedy. So we show up. Game time, ready to kick some ass. Let's do this. Let's make some money. Let's be a comic. Let's blow it out. Boom, here we go. Get to the hotel. Tell first guy, see, hey, yeah, I'm here. I'm the comic for the show, for tonight's show. Checking in. Want to check in with the booker, see who I got to talk to. He goes, oh, okay, that's great. Let me go get the rabbi. Excuse me, what? The rabbi? I said, I'm the comic. I'm here for tonight's comedy show. I'd say it like that, but I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Get the rabbi. Like, how did that come out wrong? Like, what did he think he heard that he should respond, let me go get the rabbi? Well, he heard me correctly, apparently. So I follow him and we go meet the rabbi. And there he is in his rabbi self. Sure enough, he's the one putting together the show. And he didn't even know that I was replacing the other guy. He didn't even know. The other guy didn't even let him know. Whatever. Okay, no big deal. It happens. So I said, yeah, I'm here to replace. I'm here to replace Dave. I'm the comic for the night. He goes, oh, I didn't even realize he wasn't gonna make it. Whatever. Great. We'll have you start shortly. I'll show you where the stage is gonna be. And let me just tell you, I really appreciate you being able to do a completely clean set for senior citizens and children. That's a great thing of you to be able to offer. What? That he was for real. Dave was wrong. This isn't a bunch of guys in a men's lounge at a hotel bar. It is at a hotel, and there is a bar, but this isn't in the bar. This show is for senior citizens and children. Let me add more. It's Passover weekend, all Jewish crowd, as per the rabbi. And where am I performing? They show me currently, when I walked in, all the seating was set up to divide. There was a dividing wall between men and women because they were Orthodox Jews. They pray separately, male and female. And there was like a cabinet with like the Torah. I wish I knew better what it was, but it was a very religious setup when I walked in, and they were starting to break it down to make some room, not a lot of changes for me to be able to get on. I'm shitting bricks. The show is in less than an hour. I'm like, Chelsea, what are we going to do? I'm not saying no. I'm making the show happen. Damn it. You know, I'm a funny guy, and I can be funny on the spot. We're going to make it work. So he goes, listen, you got an hour. If you'd like to have dinner, we're serving food in the other room. You're welcome, please be our guest and have dinner with us. We'll get you a plate and a table. I said, thank you. That sounds great. So Chelsea and I, we walk in. We're the only people not dressed like Orthodox Jews. We're the only people. All the men are in the black and white suits. All the women have the skirts, black skirts down to their ankles. Literally, we're like the oddballs. We walk in, we're so bizarre. So everyone notices us, and I'm just like, hey, and then we go sit down. So we get a table. They bring us some plates and stuff, and the food's delicious. We're having a good time. And we're just reworking the set. Now, as we're reworking it, you can't help but notice at the table next to us was a very, very, very older gentleman having dinner by himself. All these other tables have a lot of people at them. This guy's eating by himself. So we, just being polite, we're like, hey, if we can fix the set, we can fix the set. And we can do it with this guy. We're not going to leave him out. We'll make time. We're like that. We're good people. So. Shameless plug. So I turn to him and I go, excuse me, sir. We noticed you were having dinner alone. Would you care to join us? His response, somewhat angered at my comment. Somewhat, like not fully, but a little annoyed. He goes, excuse me, I'm not eating alone. And he picks up a framed picture, which was with a standing upright at the seat next to him of his previously past wife. And he shows it to us. And I'm like, oh my God. What? I don't even know what to say to that. I'm like, oh, you know what, sir? Hey, she's a beautiful woman. I didn't realize, and I hope you enjoy your dinner. Excellent. Happy holiday. Get out of that. So we turn around, we go back to eating and working on the comedy. And then this other woman, older woman, she's very social. We see her bouncing around table to table, walking around. She sees us. Hey, if you're the chatty Kathy in the room and you see the only two people not dressed like Orthodox Jews, you're going to come say hello and see what the deal is. So she does. She comes over and she's super sweet. She's leaning on the table talking to us. And just then I notice the numbers. Maybe they were in this direction. She's a survivor. Again, forget the comedy. It doesn't matter. Am I really about to meet a survivor? I'm talking to a survivor right now. Whoa, lady, please tell us. You can't pass that up. So now, we tried to be social with the guy next to us. We're meeting a survivor and finding out a little bit about her story. Time is disappearing. You know what I mean? We had less than an hour to start. Plus, we're trying to eat a little bit. And somehow, we made it all work. I felt like we were clean and tight. And this is Bambi, okay? This is Disney G-rated comedy. This is some clean, this is as clean as it gets. And so we're ready. Here we go. We're ready. I don't know. So we go into the other room to go get set up. I walk up to the same podium with the microphone where, their rabbi had been giving services for Passover. Now I'm going to throw out my, derelict comedy at these people. And before we get started, this is just fantastic. So I'm doing a little mic check. Barely said a word, certainly not talking to the crowd yet. There's a woman who's probably several hundred years old sitting in a wheelchair. She is just dust sitting in a wheelchair. And she's old enough that her son who's helping her, he's old, okay? Like he's old and he's next to her. And she looks in my direction. She tells her son, get me out of here. With this old grouchy old voice, get me out of here. I want to leave. Just like that, certainly, and loud enough for me to hear it. And the son knew it. Now, the son was a cool guy, even though she was not super polite. The son was super nice. He knew that I probably overheard that. And over his shoulder, he says to her, but in earshot of me, he goes, "Oh, sure, Mom. Are you too cold? Is that why you'd like to leave?" Thinking he's giving her an out. And he's making me feel better by, it's just that she's cold. She's an old woman and she's cold. I'm cold. So that's why she wants to leave. Nope. She wouldn't give him the out and let me even be comfortable. She goes, "No, I just don't think he'll be any good."
Oh my
Excuse me, Bertha. Pardon, mon ami. And I called her out. I actually called her out. I said, "Excuse me, there will be no heckling at tonight's show." I said that to her. I said it into the microphone. I said it right to her. And the son kind of laughed, and then he rolled her old ass out of there, and she was gone. Much to her, chagrin, I guess. No, I don't know if that's the word. But she was very glad. She was glad to be gone. And, hey, it was mutual.
Ditto.
I can't believe I got heckled by a woman who's like a octogenarian or something. Anyway, once she was gone, a few minutes later, we get the show started. There were a couple kids at a couple points. The rabbi sat right in the front row. He's feet away. I've got many, many senior citizens. What kept the show going, actually, that woman's son was a good audience member. He laughed quite a bit. He was cool. He was very attentive, and he came back after dropping off his mom. I don't know where he wheeled her off to, but he was back pretty quickly. And actually, the orderlies, the ladies who were like the caretakers of the seniors, they were younger. They got the show. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. Those who could hear, I think, enjoyed. Huh?
The rabbi.
Yeah, I said the rabbi was right up front. He came in like 10 minutes in, I think. And but he was there and he was having a good time, and that was kind of my litmus test to let me know if the seniors, And again, I don't even think I said hell or damn. Really, this was Walt Disney. And the show went well. I actually ran over. What did I do? 40 or 45 minutes, I think. I gave him extra. And it ended up being so good that of course, we got good cheers, all that. At the end of the show, the rabbi thanked me, shook my hand. He was so happy, and he tipped me. I think he tipped me like 15 or 20%. He gave me $175 on $150, so it was like 15% over, and said he'd love to have me back, which was great. And one thing that was funny too, the son, the guy, the son of the older woman, he was such a good audience member. He was the first hand I wanted to shake after the rabbi, so I went over to shake hands. I didn't realize. I don't know. He doesn't shake hands. He's Orthodox. It's like, I thought that was just men to women. I guess he doesn't shake anyone's hands. He didn't want to be rude. He so didn't want to be rude with not shaking hands, and he didn't know how to not shake hands that he fell. He fell trying to not shake my hand. You remember? He was in like the second row of chairs, and I had stepped into the row to shake his hand. He had nowhere to go, and he just tripped over his foot and the chair and just went, and I was like, Jesus, hey, I can't help him up. I can't. If he can't shake my hand, I'm sure he can't have me, grab him by the coat collar. So, we just kind of waved and walked away as he was picking himself up, putting himself together. So, anyway, that's the first time I was ever hired to do stand-up. I didn't tell Dave, which he probably will know now, I'll tag him in this, that I had never done a paid gig before that gig, but it did work out. It was a ton of fun. More fun than I could have known going into it. And why not? If you're going to do your first time somewhere, you might as well have it be comedy in and of itself. So that's tonight's episode of Behind the Comic. I'm Paul Roseberry. Hopefully you had a good laugh. We'll do it again soon. Bye-bye.